Underway for the third man accused in a horrific triple murder that rocked Berkshire County. Investigators say Caius Veiovis and two other men kidnapped, tortured, and dismembered the victims 3 years ago. Our Kimberly Howard was in Hampton Superior Court today, where things got off to a rocky start.
This case was supposed to have 16 jurors, but before opening statements got underway, one of those jurors discovered she has a cousin who is married to a Hells Angel. Now, the Hells Angels are a big part of this case since two of the three defendants are known to be part of that motorcycle club. After that juror was dismissed, the opening statements got underway, the jury getting the first taste of all the gory details. There's no question the defendant stands out with his satanic facial tattoos and horn implants. But for the prosecution, Caius Veiovis is really no different than the other two men, Adam Hall and David Chalue, who have already been convicted of the murders of David Glasser, Robert Chadwell, and Edward Frampton.
Acting together, their actions are as if by one person.
In opening statements, District Attorney David Capeless described the brutal murders in detail.
They drove them to a remote location in Berkshire County, and there, they killed them by cutting, stabbing, and shooting them, and then cut up their bodies, severing their heads, their arms, and their legs.
Capeless charged that Veiovis' Jeep was used during the crime and that Veiovis helped plan, execute, and cover it all up. Hall has been called the mastermind, the one who needed Glasser dead because he was going to testify against him in a trial for a separate crime. Prosecutors say the other two victims just got in the way.
He had a motive for helping Adam Hall get rid of David Glasser, and that was because the defendant was interested in joining the Hells Angels.
But the defense fired back, telling the jury that unlike the other two convicted killers, Veiovis wasn't a Hells Angel.
He hadn't taken any steps to join the Hells Angels. He didn't own a motorcycle.
And the defense says, unlike the other two, Veiovis had a full-time job as a landscaper.
He worked a regular 40-hour week before Hurricane Irene or Tropical Storm Irene. He worked a regular 40-hour week the next week.
It's a job the defense says also would have required him to purchase some of the knives and tools the prosecution says may have been used in the crimes. The prosecution admitted this case is filled with circumstantial evidence. Investigators haven't been able to pinpoint an exact location as to where those murders took place. They don't even have an exact time or a weapon. Now, after those opening arguments, the prosecution called its first witness, a social worker who knew at least two of the victims well. She's the first in a long list of witnesses that will go and testify in courts on Monday. For now, we're outside Hampton Superior Court. Kimberly Howard, CBS 6 News.